Hello everyone. So welcome to Tea with Sparksys. In this session today we will look at some of the recent updates from the Atlassian ecosystem. My name is Ravi Sagar. I make these weekly Atlassian updates video. You can watch these videos on, of course, YouTube, our channel Sparksys. But we also have a podcast where you can listen to these updates. All right, so let us go through the updates. The first update I have for you is about Atlassian Analytics. Now, Atlassian Analytics is a tool from Atlassian to report on your Atlassian tools, and it's a very powerful tool. I don't really have a lot of experience. I've seen it, like glimpses of it, but I've never really built anything using Atlassian Analytics. But I think I will be looking into it. I will have to look into it because my client will ask me to do it, because Atlassian Analytics is only for enterprise customers and big Jira instances. Now, this update is about some new tables that are being added in the Atlassian Analytics, and these tables are Jira_issue live, issue field live, issue status history live, and project live. And these tables will of course help you understand a bit more about your Jira data. You can create reports and understand how to use that data, understand the progress of your work, your team's work. So do take a look at this, or four tables if you're using Atlassian Analytics. I don't really know a lot of clients of mine who are using Atlassian Analytics because they are not that big in terms of number of issues. But for one of my clients, I will be definitely looking into it because they are now struggling a bit with reporting. Atlassian Analytics seems promising. It is, of course, from Atlassian, and of course, when you have a tool from Atlassian, a powerful tool from Atlassian, then you can expect a better reporting capability. All right, so the next update I have for you is about Jira Align change of terminology. So Jira Align, of course, is another tool, completely another tool, and the change in the terminology from issue to work item will also be reflected now in Jira Align. The Jira Align will of course have this new name or change in the issue type name. So if you're using Jira Align and if you are wondering why all of a sudden we have work items instead of issues, then you know that this is because of the change of the issue to work type in Jira. So this change is of course coming to Jira Align. And I think internally when it comes to tables, it will still be the old issue under Jira_issue, Jira_issue_field, but for the end users, it will be called as work item. And I don't really like it, to be honest. I have been talking about it, but I think in few months, maybe few years, I will get used to it, and I'm sure then Atlassian will change it to something else. We all know about how Atlassian keeps on changing these things, and now we know recently they are talking about moving the status button from the right hand side to the left hand side. We'll talk about it separately in a separate video. There was an update. I posted on LinkedIn, and whenever I post on LinkedIn, I get mixed reviews. But I think everyone agrees that Atlassian is doing these changes too frequently. I think they should have done it gradually. I know they announce it months in advance, but I think they have announced too many things at the same time, and it can be a bit confusing, right? But of course, in this session, let us not talk about changes to the UI or terminology a lot. All right, the next update is again about Jira Align. And Jira Align now has smart links. So what will happen is, if you paste a Jira Align URL to your Jira, maybe in your issues, it will convert it to a card kind of a view where you will get a bit more information about that particular Jira Align URL. So as you can see here, that there is a theme, and this theme is of course it was just a URL. The moment you copy it, it will bring in the information from Jira Align. So this is something that already happens with Jira issue links, right? Which is great. I think I like it. Whenever you copy a link from Jira issue to Confluence, it will fetch the information and it will show you the status and a bit more details, like a summary maybe. So it is useful, and I think this will help. When it comes to Jira Align, so there are few things, like few tools which I have very little knowledge about, like Atlassian Analytics. Jira Align is one such tool. Maybe I should probably do a bit more research and consultancy into Jira Align. I think to become a Jira Align consultant, you have to do a course or a workshop or a week-long workshop in Amsterdam. I remember I was supposed to go once, long back, but I didn't. But maybe I should consider it again. All right. So let us talk about few other things. In case you don't know, Atlassian is from time to time doing this session, Ask Me Anything, where they have a session where people can ask questions and they answer. So there is a AMA session on scaling CI/CD workflows within Bitbucket. It is happening on 31st of July. And you should consider joining if you're interested. I'm actually quite interested in Bitbucket, but I don't get a lot of time. Most of my energy and whatever work I do, it is mostly around Atlassian, like popular Atlassian tools like Jira. Bitbucket is popular, but nothing like GitHub or even GitLab, to be honest. I use I use GitLab, I use GitHub, but for all our work repositories, they are all on Bitbucket. And recently Bitbucket announced limit on their free plan. I think you can't really have a repository, not a repository. I think the whole workspace cannot be bigger than 1 GB. So it is a problem. I did some cleanup and it was a bit annoying, but I understand. Maybe I'll move to the self-hosted version of Git. I think there are a lot of tools that will let you host your own repository, like self-hosting. Maybe I should do that. For me, Bitbucket, I know we have a team and we collaborate, but we can always spin up a server somewhere and host our own repositories. I think many people should actually consider doing this. Not only it is much more fun, but you have things in your control, right? And by the way, I do have a channel on YouTube called BlackBerry Boy. So BlackBerry Boy is a channel where I talk about open source, where I talk about Linux, where I talk about not this one, BlackBerry Boy. So where I talk about Emacs, where I talk about self-hosting. So this channel is all about everything which is not Jira. All right, so do consider subscribing, and I do talk about owning your own data a lot on this channel. All right, let us move on and talk about the upcoming event. Now, there is an event happening on 2nd of August, so pretty soon, I guess. And this event is on 2nd of August in Delhi. So I will be there, most likely. I mean, this is the plan so far. So it is happening in Lemon Tree Hotel, Sona Road. And this event is about Forge and Rovo. So I'm, of course, very much interested in Forge. I have been developing apps using Forge. in our team, I think we have built more than 7 or 8. I think there are like 7 or 8 apps that we have built. We of course launched one app, but we have plans to launch more. And I'm basically looking at Forge as a script runner for Jira Cloud. So we have been promoting ourselves as a Forge app development company. We want to, of course, provide services, because on Jira Cloud you can do automations. Using automation rules, you can do a few things here and there, but with the help of Forge, you can of course take it to the next level. So in case you are wondering why your Jira is not working for you, why you're not able to do that automation, reach out to us. We can do an evaluation and we can tell you whether Forge can be used or not. And because they are also talking about Rovo, and these days everything is about AI, so definitely I'm interested. So I'll be there, and I'll be attending this event. So in case you want to meet me, I would love to meet you. If you are watching this video, this session, if you're listening to this session on Spotify or maybe YouTube, do message me. I will be there on 2nd of August. All right. So the next thing I want to talk about is the blog of the week, which is about when not to use Jira. So we all know that Jira is a great tool. We are Jira consultants, but we often encourage our clients to not use Jira, because Jira, based on the requirements, might not work for them. Sometimes people reach out to us with a requirement where they are using a tool for something which is nothing to do with issue tracking. Of course, Jira can be used for a variety of use cases. End of the day, it is nothing but a web interface through which you enter something in a tool. But again, there has to be a use case, right? Jira is an issue tracker. So in case you need a tool where you want to do some kind of issue tracking, task management, project management, maybe a lightweight CRM, yes, potentially you can use Jira, but not for everything, right? So we can always look at your current tool and understand whether Jira will work for you or not, right? Sometimes we tell them, okay, you have a very short-term project. Maybe you have a project that needs to be finished in 3 months and you want to be a bit more process light, then don't use Jira. Because when you start using a tool like Jira, the whole idea is bureaucracy. The whole idea is to have a process. Sometimes you don't need a process. Sometimes you just need a good project manager and a team of engineers, and give them the necessary tools like Excel or Google Sheets, and they will do the work. You don't really need Jira for something very short-term and aggressive. And sometimes you also don't really need to use Jira when you know that you're doing something very straightforward, where you just need to look at list of items somewhere and you just need to do it. There is no planning required. There is nothing like time tracking. You don't really need to worry about how long they are going to spend. It's just list of items. You just need to tick mark. So just use Excel sheet or spreadsheet or a notepad or Google Sheet. If you start using Jira, then you're actually going to complicate. So we do tell our clients, it could be the whole company, it could be a team in a company, that whatever you're doing is working well for you. Don't worry, don't bother using Jira. Unless they tell us that yes, they want to grow, they want to scale, or they have a team which is growing and the kind of work they are going to do will be different. Of course, in that case, Jira will definitely make much more sense. The other thing that I want to talk about is this video, which we recently posted on our channel. And this video is about configuration management in Jira. Now, Jira as a tool is, and as you can see, I'm wearing the same t-shirt. Right, so Jira as a tool was never really fundamentally, I believe, a tool that you can run headless, or I should say, so that is of course one example, or I should say a tool that you can interact with using nothing but APIs. Of course, a lot of what you do, even right now on Jira, is through UI, right? You have to create a workflow, do it from the UI. You have to create a project with some customizations, you do it from the UI. Yes, you can do it using API. Right now, there are endpoints for a lot of these things. On Jira Data Center, we have Java APIs, but of course, that is not really for everyone. But uh, Jira is not really a tool where you can promote these configurations from one environment to another environment. Even on Jira Cloud, yes, we have REST API, but it is not really straightforward, or it is not like committing your code and then expecting everything to work, because the configurations in Jira, they're tied to data. And when you change something in your configuration, you can't really apply the same configuration on a different environment. People tell me that, okay, we have two environments, like one is production, the other one is staging or sandbox, and we always do things on staging and then we move it to production. It is very difficult. And in this video, I actually talked about these things a bit more in detail, right? So Jira is not really a tool for configuration management. I know it is improving, I know it is getting better, but you can't really, Jira is not really in a state right now where you can totally rely on sandbox. Whatever changes you're doing, you do it on a sandbox, you push a button and it is moved to production. That is not how things are. You can of course move things from staging to production, right, or dev to production, but it works only in the beginning. You can create a project and everything and then move it to production, and that is it. But when you have a production with different data and your staging is of course with different data, then you can't really just keep on changing things on staging and then moving into production, like using some configuration management tool or using REST API. It works, but you have to be very, very careful, extremely careful about these things. For example, if you change the workflow. For example, you have two environments where you have, let us say you have a requirement from your user that they want to remove a status from the workflow, right? So you can remove a status from the workflow, no problem at all. But these things cannot be done very easily from the API. Whenever you change the workflow where you are where you're removing a status, then you have to migrate those issues. You have to notify the users so that they can do something in their reports, because all of a sudden that status will disappear. And you can definitely, I mean, this is one example. The other example could be to modify the context of your custom fields. So these things are something that you need to do from the UI so that you are absolutely sure about the impact, right? So Jira is not yet there when it comes to configuration management. Hopefully it will become a totally UI free tool where everything is maintained or can be maintained in a code, and then you, like maybe YAML files, I guess, where you commit your YAML files to a different environment, and you press a button and those YAML configurations are applied. Hopefully that can happen. Let us see, who knows, right? Because I come from Drupal development background, I always try to compare. But yeah, this video will give you some pointers and give you some ideas. And this is especially useful for those people who are responsible for maintaining big Jira instances in a company where they have multiple environments, dev or sandbox. You have to always do these things carefully, right? So don't really just trust any app and expect it to work by simply clicking a button. You can actually end up damaging something, right? Okay, so that is all. That is all I wanted to talk about in this session, in this video, in this podcast. I hope you enjoyed this session and you also learned something new today. By the way, do consider subscribing to our YouTube channel, SparkSys, and also our newsletter. So if you go to ravisagar.in/newsletter, or if you go to our website, sparksys.com/newsletter, you can get these updates by email. Usually we send one email every week. And also we have a WhatsApp channel, by the way, where we share some of these updates. So in case you want to stay up to date with whatever is happening in the Atlassian ecosystem, I think a WhatsApp channel, a message on a WhatsApp channel will help. Okay, that is it. That is all I have for you today. Thank you very much. Bye bye.